Hi folks, Mike Green here. It's a beautiful March day and I'm going to do a quick Facebook Live video because I guess that's the cool thing to do. So it's the middle of March, and this time of year I always get businesses that come up to me and say, Mike, how did you make the transition from a traditional full-time job to your own business? Or I've got a side business and I've been building it kind of slowly the last couple of years and I don't really know when is the right time to make that leap or to jump off the ledge, so to speak. Now, with family and mortgages and all these different things, we have a lot to risk when we do that, and so there's always going to be risk, and I've got to really clarify and make it very, very clear that you need to proceed carefully when you do this because you want to minimize the risk as much as possible. But hopefully this concept will help you know when you have a legitimate business, at least a little bit, so that you can make a good decision going forward. So I've got to give a shout out to Russell Brunson on this concept, and the reason why I wanted to share it was because even after 20 years of marketing, I still have things that just kind of blow my mind when it comes to marketing that I just never really thought of that way before. So let's talk about a legitimate business. So let's say you have a full-time job, maybe you hate it, you can't stand it, and you want to do something different. Maybe you've been working on an Etsy deal or you've been working on something else on the side, and so you want to make that your full-time gig. And so we're going to call that a real business. When you can just say, yes, I've got a real business that I'm going to really function on and know that I'm profitable. So what does a real business need? Every real business needs customers, right? So we'll put customers down here. Awfully important because you don't really have a business without customers. But there's actually one step farther than that because it's usually not hard to get those that first bit of customers, whether that's family and friends or your neighbors or maybe a contact or two. It's not hard to get those first customers, but there's two elements to customers that you've got to really understand before you have a legitimate business. So the first thing is you have to be able to get customers consistently. So we'll put C-O-N, consistently. So that's the first element, is you've got to make sure that you're able to create customers on a consistent basis. Meaning that you have something figured out, and whether that's brand new customers or maybe that's referrals, doesn't really matter necessarily, but you have to know that you're going to be able to get them on a consistent level. But that's not all. The second factor is, are those customers, can you acquire them profitably? Can you get them profitably? Because if you can't get them profitably, you don't have a real business. If you can't get them consistently, you don't have a real business. Now, I know a lot of companies out there, even frankly big companies that have been around for a long time, that are able to acquire a lot of customers, but they can't really do it very profitably. Sometimes we hear about these excuse me, .coms and some of these other companies that they have a lot of customers, but they're running in the negative because they haven't figured out how to acquire customers profitably yet. Now, on the other hand, I know a lot of customers that can profitably create customers, and once they get them, they're awesome and the profit margins are huge, but they can't do it on a consistent basis. And so it's really not a legitimate business until you have that figured out, because you're going to need consistent customers coming in to your business in order for it to be legitimized. So again, in recap, real business equals customers, and until you have the equation figured out for consistency and profitability of creating those customers, you really don't have a real business, and frankly, you have no business jumping off that ledge quite yet. Now, you can do it, you can figure it out, but it takes a little bit of science and a little bit of strategy to figure out how you're going to be able to get those customers both consistently and profitably. Again, I'm Mike Green with Iron Forge Media. I've got an awesome tip I want to share next in a day or two. Something that blew my mind about Facebook ads and how to think through the methodology to make them super, super effective. So I look forward to talking to you again, and I'll post hopefully these live updates. It was kind of fun. Hopefully I'll figure out the audio a little bit better so it'll be better for you. But look forward to the next update.